You know what's crazy? You've probably studied English for years. Maybe you can write perfect grammar on tests. Maybe you know all the tenses. But when someone actually speaks to you in English, your mind goes blank. Your palms get sweaty. And somehow you forget every single word you ever learned. Here's the thing, you're not bad at English. You've just been learning it the wrong way. Today, I'm going to show you the actual science-backed methods that can get you to fluency in 6 to 18 months. No boring textbooks, no endless grammar drills. Just real strategies that work. Let's go. What is real fluency? All right, let's start with a truth bomb. Fluency is not about perfect grammar. I know. Your English teacher would probably have a heart attack hearing that. But here's what the research actually says. Real fluency is about communicating naturally, spontaneously, and confidently. It's about being able to watch a Netflix show without subtitles, order food without rehearsing in your head 10 times, or slide into someone's DMs without Google Translate as your wingman. Think about it. When you speak your native language, do you think about where to put the adjective? Do you consciously remember verb tenses? No, you just speak. That's fluency, and that's what we're aiming for. The science behind learning. There's this famous linguist named Krashen who basically revolutionized how we understand language learning. His big idea? You acquire language through exposure, not memorization. It's called the I+1 principle. You learn best when you're exposed to content that's just slightly above your current level. Not too easy, not too hard. Like Goldilocks, but for English learning. Your brain is basically a pattern recognition machine. When you expose it to enough real English, the kind people actually use, it starts building neural pathways. It's like creating highways in your brain for English to travel on. The more you expose yourself to real, meaningful content, the faster those highways get built. But here's what messes everything up. Anxiety, fear of making mistakes, embarrassment. These emotions literally create a mental block. Scientists call it the affective filter that stops your brain from absorbing new language. You know that feeling when you're about to speak English and your heart starts racing? That's the filter, and we're going to destroy it. The Immersion Hack. Now let's talk about the first game changer, immersion. And no, you don't need to buy a plane ticket to New York or London. Here's your first homework assignment, and I'm serious about this. Right after this video, I want you to do something crazy. Change everything in your life to English. Your phone, English. Your laptop, English. Your Instagram, follow English-speaking accounts. Your Netflix, English with English subtitles, not your native language. Your YouTube recommendations, you're already here, so you're on the right track. But wait, you're thinking, won't that be super confusing? Yes, that's literally the point. When you have to use English to function in your daily life, your brain switches gears. It stops translating and starts thinking in English. I want you to imagine this. You wake up tomorrow. Your alarm goes off with an English notification. You check your phone, all in English. You make breakfast while listening to an English podcast. You scroll through Twitter, English memes everywhere. You're basically living in an English-speaking country, but you never left your house. Studies show that learners who do this see improvements in just weeks, not months, not years, weeks. Why culture matters. Cultural immersion extends beyond language to encompass understanding of English-speaking societies. Here's something most learners miss. You need to understand the culture, not just the words. Learning idioms, expressions, and cultural context is crucial for 3 big reasons. First, it prevents awkward misunderstandings. Imagine you say something that's grammatically perfect, but culturally inappropriate. People might stop listening, and you'll think your English is bad when actually you just didn't understand the cultural context. Second, it helps you use expressions naturally. When you understand why Americans say break a leg instead of good luck, you'll use these phrases at the right moments. Third, it builds genuine connections with native speakers. The more you understand the culture, the easier it is to relate to people on a deeper level. Mastering idioms. Let's talk about idioms specifically, because using them is a true sign of fluency. Idioms are phrases that paint a picture instead of relying on literal meanings. When someone says, "It's raining cats and dogs," They don't mean animals are falling from the sky. They mean it's raining heavily. When someone says, hit the books, they mean study hard, not literally punch your textbooks. Native speakers love using idioms, so learning them makes you sound more natural and less like a textbook. Start with the top 20 most common English idioms like piece of cake, something easy, hit the nail on the head, exactly right, or the ball is in your court. It's your decision now. Once you master those, explore idioms related to specific topics like food, nature, or the human body. Here's an important tip. Use the right idioms for the right place. American English and British English have different idioms. In the US, you say toot your own horn when praising yourself, but in the UK, they say blow your own trumpet. In American English, you tear into someone when criticizing them harshly, but in British English, you have a go at someone. Knowing these differences shows you're not just fluent, you're culturally aware too. So how do you learn culture and idioms? Watch English shows and pay attention to how people interact. Follow English-speaking influencers and notice what makes people laugh or what's considered polite. Join online communities and observe the social dynamics. Cultural fluency and language fluency go hand in hand. The relationship advantage. Now, let me share something that might surprise you. One of the fastest ways people actually learn English is through relationships and friendships with English speakers. And I'm being completely serious here. Here's something interesting. A ton of international YouTube couples actually met through language exchange apps like Tandem or HelloTalk. These apps aren't officially dating apps, but the reality is that many people have found their partners there. Picture this. An American girl wants to learn Korean due to her passion for K-pop and K-drama. A Korean guy wants to learn English. They match on a language app, they start chatting, and boom. Suddenly they're not just language partners anymore. They're in a relationship, and both of them are becoming fluent super fast because they're texting, calling, and video chatting every single day in each other's languages. The emotional motivation is unbeatable. When you're trying to impress someone you're interested in, you're not going to say, I'll study tomorrow. You're going to learn how to say, you look beautiful tonight, without sounding like Google Translate wrote it. You're going to make sure you understand everything they're saying. You're going to practice before every call. That's the kind of motivation no textbook can create. And it's not just about romance. Making genuine friendships with English speakers creates the same effect. When you care about someone, when you want to understand their jokes, share your stories with them, and really connect, you're going to push through the discomfort of making mistakes. You're going to show up consistently because you're not just learning English anymore. You're building a relationship. Language exchange apps like Tandem and HelloTalk have millions of users specifically looking for language partners. Some people are there purely to learn, some make lifelong friends, and yes, some find love. The point is, real human connection is the ultimate motivator. So if you're single and learning English, why not try a language exchange app? You might make a great friend, find a study buddy, or who knows, maybe even meet someone special. And even if romance isn't in the cards, you'll still be practicing with real people, which is invaluable. Who you learn from matters. Now here's something fascinating that most people don't know. Who you learn English from actually shapes how you sound. Research shows that if you learn primarily from one gender, like learning mostly from a girlfriend, boyfriend, or specific content creators, you might unconsciously adopt their speech patterns, including gendered speaking styles. Let me explain. Women's speech, on average, tends to use more politeness markers, softer intonation, and indirect language. Men's speech is often more direct and assertive. If you're a guy learning English mainly from your girlfriend or female YouTubers, you might end up sounding more feminine in your English. Softer tone, more polite phrases, more hesitant language. The same happens in reverse for women learning mainly from men. This is especially noticeable in languages like Japanese or Korean, where men and women have very distinct speech styles, but it happens in English too. Male learners have reported being told their English sounds soft or feminine because they learned primarily from female sources. Here's the thing. This isn't bad or wrong, but you should be aware of it. If you want to sound more natural for your own gender in English, make sure you're getting balanced input. Watch male and female content creators. Listen to podcasts with diverse hosts. Have conversations with people of different genders. This gives you a more well-rounded, natural speaking style. The takeaway? Diversify your English input sources. Don't just learn from one person or one type of content. Mix it up so your English sounds natural and authentic to who you are. Thank you for watching. That's it for part 1. See you in part 2.